Don't compare yourself with other people. Compare yourself with who you were yesterday. It's in responsibility that most people find the meaning that sustains them through life. It's not in happiness. It's not in impulsive pleasure. The idea that women were oppressed throughout history is an appalling theory. Adopt responsibility for your own well-being. Try to put your family together. Try to serve your community. Try to seek for eternal truth. That's the sort of thing that can ground you in your life, enough so that you can withstand the difficulty of life. I don't tell people, you're okay the way that you are. That's not the right story. The right story is, you're way less than you could be. It is more difficult to rule yourself than to rule a city. The truth is something that burns. It burns off dead wood. And people don't like having the dead wood burned off, often because they're 95% dead wood. Accept the terrible responsibility of life with eyes wide open. There's a personality trait known as agreeableness. Agreeable people are compassionate and polite, and agreeable people get paid less than disagreeable people for the same job. Women are more agreeable than men. Happiness is a pointless goal. Abortion is clearly wrong. Free speech is not just another value. It's the foundation of Western civilization. If you're talking to a man who wouldn't fight with you under any circumstances whatsoever, then you're talking to someone for whom you have absolutely no respect. No one gets away with anything, ever, so take responsibility for your own life. Don't be dependent, at all, ever, period. Life is tragic. You are tiny and flawed and ignorant and weak, and everything else is huge, complex, and overwhelming. Life is very difficult. One of the most ancient of religious ideas that emerges everywhere, I would say, is that life is essentially suffering. Power is competence. Don't lie about anything, ever. Lying leads to hell. Music has an intrinsic meaning which has always been mysterious to me. If you don't stand your ground, then all that happens is people push you backwards. To me, ideology is corrupt. It's a parasite on religious structures. To be an ideologue is to have all of the terrible things that are associated with religious certainty and none of the utility. If you're an ideologue, you believe everything that you think. If you're religious, there's a mystery left there. Men and women aren't the same, and they won't be the same. That doesn't mean that they can't be treated fairly. Become aware of your own insufficiency. The people who hold that our culture is an oppressive patriarchy They don't want to admit that the current hierarchy might be predicated on competence. You can't have a value structure without a hierarchy. They're the same thing because a value structure means one thing takes precedence over another. Women deeply want men who are competent and powerful. And I don't mean power in that they can exert tyrannical control over others. That's not power. That's just corruption. It makes sense that a witch lives in a swamp. If you learn a martial art, you learn to be dangerous, but simultaneously, you learn to control it. When you start to realize how much of what you've constructed of yourself is based on deception and lies, that is a horrifying realization.